Ever since I was a young kid, maybe 4 or 5 years old, product management was always my dream job. Wait, scratch that. None of my friends' parents were product managers, and growing up, that's basically the only way that I found out about a career. All joking aside, I didn't even know that product management was a job one could do. When I was younger, I wanted to be several things: an architect, a surgeon. The list really went on, and basically changed year by year. When I started college though, I started to learn more about developing software. I built my first iOS app named ChinUp, and as I continued to learn about how to improve that app, I stumbled upon product management as a career path. I was immediately hooked with this idea. Fast forward 6 or so years, and I'm now a senior product manager based out of New York City, and I've worked at 4 different tech companies. I started off as an associate product manager and was promoted to a PM after about 2 years. Then I was promoted to a senior PM after another 2 more years. In this video, I wanted to share the 5 reasons why I truly love being a product manager and why I can't imagine myself being in any other 9-to-5 career out there. Starting off with probably the most obvious reason: compensation. Within tech companies, product managers are known to be compensated very well. In fact, they hold the highest paid role for those who don't need to know how to code or code in their full-time job. This is particularly attractive for people who want to really be at the heart of product development, but don't want to invest months or years learning how to code. When it comes to compensation, there is really a wide range of what people get depending on their level of experience and their seniority. Associate PMs can earn between 100 to 130K a year, while PMs can expect to make around 130 to 160. And as you climb the ladder, senior PMs can earn anywhere from 160 all the way up to 220, and staff product managers make 220 and above. It's really important to note that these figures are just the base salary. On top of that, product managers oftentimes get stock grants from their companies, which can significantly increase their overall compensation, especially if they stay with a company for a long period of time and that company actually has a profitable exit. My compensation as a product manager helps me afford living in New York City, traveling, and more. While there are many motivations to select a career path, like the type of work, the industries, etc., money is a special one. A study done by James Cook University showed that financial remuneration, which is another way of saying how much someone gets paid, is the #1 factor when someone decides what career path they want to actually pursue. The second reason why I love being a PM is that I actually get to be a part of the process of shipping new features to our product. Every single update, whether big or small, helps some customer out there solve a problem that they're having. And if you're someone who likes solving problems, sometimes really challenging problems with no clear path forward, then this role is for you. But if the thought of ambiguity or an unclear path to success scares you and overwhelms you, then I'd probably avoid this role altogether. There are really only a few types of roles at a tech company that are directly involved in this process. And the product is really at the heart of a modern day tech company. It's what everyone is really focused on in one way or another. The marketing team tries to acquire more users of the product. The support team helps unblock users when they get stuck or confused while using the product. The PMs, engineers, and designers are the only roles that get to actually work directly on making changes to the product, whereas other departments can only request that those people work on ideas that they may have. It may just be the type of person that I am, but I'd much prefer to be on the team that's empowered to actually improve the product directly, not on the teams that are requesting stuff. Identifying really painful customer problems and developing smart solutions to address them is really exhilarating to a lot of PMs, engineers, and designers out there, including myself. On a weekly basis, I witness firsthand the transformation of ideas into tangible features that have a direct impact on people's lives. Also, being a part of the product development process means I'm able to constantly stay up to date with the latest technologies and trends out there. It exposes me to new tools, methodologies, and approaches that not only enhance my professional growth, but also enable me to deliver the best solutions possible. This type of environment really keeps me engaged and motivated, since I'm always learning and adapting to new challenges. By the way, if you've enjoyed this video so far, I'd really appreciate it if you could drop a like and subscribe, as it really helps my channel grow. And if you want to get notified when I release new videos, make sure notifications are turned on below. Okay, on to number 3. The third reason I love being a PM is my exposure and access to executives at the company. The executives not only run the company, which means they have a lot of power over what gets worked on, the culture, and more, but they are also very useful resources to learn from. Executives must have done something right in their careers to end up in their current positions, so they're great people to watch and learn from over time. As mentioned in number 2, the PMs are on the team that's actually making changes to the product, and the executives are typically very interested in what is happening with the product. They may have ideas for how to improve it, it, they may be wondering updates about how a project is going. Whatever it is, they're in constant communication with the PMs, which is really great for us because we get another source to continue learning and growing from. I'm able to observe how they make decisions, how they run meetings, how they present, how they foster positive team culture, and more. Other people on the tech team don't typically have as much one-on-one time with the executives within a company, which really means that the PMs have an outsized opportunity to learn from executives compared to other roles. This is particularly helpful for anyone who wants to eventually run their own team or run their own company as well. The fourth reason I love being a PM is that we get to make major decisions. This may sound really simple, but I view it as a huge reason I love this career. A decision is defined as making a final choice or judgment about something or selecting a course of action. Now, when some type of problem comes up, usually everyone in the room has some type of opinion on how that problem should be solved. Like, think about a spider jumping into a kitchen at a family dinner. It's likely that people afraid of spiders will want to kill the spider as soon as possible. It's also likely that people who deeply care about animals will want to save it and release it into the wild. This is not much different from a problem that comes up with a company's product. Everyone will have an opinion on what should be done, how the solution should be implemented, how the copy should be written, how the feature should be rolled out. The awesome thing about being a PM is that oftentimes we'll be the ones empowered to make the final decision on a problem. We will decide the course of action or the judgment about something. We decide if it is really worthwhile solving certain problems or punting them for later. We decide the amount of complexity involved in a feature. Now, we don't do this alone. It's really best practice for a PM to get inputs from basically everyone on their team, form a conclusion on how to proceed, and then get buy-in on the team to actually start implementing the solution or change. But I wanted to note this because if you have strong opinions, unless you're the PM on the team, you'll have to get comfortable with kind of going along with the flow if a decision is made that's different from the decision that you would have made if you were the PM. I also wanted to mention that PMs won't always have final say. Depending on the level of importance of the decision, the scope of the product area, and the seniority of the PM, different executives may get involved. It's the PM's responsibility to ensure that everyone has all the knowledge they may need to make an informed decision. It's also the PM's job to push forward towards consensus amongst leadership or get a definitive decision that an executive makes and others agree to. Finally, they'll have to ensure that the decision is actually executed successfully in the product. By the way, if you're currently trying to land a PM role, whether you're transitioning from a different role into product or you already have experience as a PM but you're looking for that next role, I offer a free hour-long training on a 5-part strategy I've developed over the years that actually helps people stand out and get interviews instead of just applying to hundreds of jobs and hearing back from very few. Check it out in the description below. Okay, on to the fifth and final reason I love being a PM. This one is that every single hour of every day is different. What I'm working on is always changing. I'm bopping around from problem to problem and always flexing different skill sets. Now, I do admit that this can sometimes be exhausting, but I'd much prefer it to doing the same thing over and over again. Being pigeonholed into one specific skill or task honestly scares me. I'd much rather be learning and doing a variety of things to keep things interesting. The reason that PMs are constantly shifting focus is twofold. Number one is that the feature you're working on may be at any stage of the product development process. Check out this video for a deep dive into a day in the life of a PM across different parts of the development process. And number two is that the features themselves are always changing. You'll work on one feature, ship it, monitor it, and then move on to the next. Because the features and phase of the product development process are constantly changing, your focus will constantly be changing as well. Say that there are 8 different main things you need to do across the product development process for a feature to be successful. Things like user research, design iterations, QA testing, and more. And say you ship 4 main features every quarter. 4 features times 4 quarters is 16 features in a year. And 16 features times 8 phases of the product development lifecycle is 128 possible combinations of things that you could be working on. For example, one of those could be user research for a friend invite feature. Another could be design iterations for a password reset page. There are only 52 weeks in a year and hypothetically 128 unique things that you could be doing in that year. So as you can imagine, you are constantly moving around and solving different problems problems over time. I share these numbers to illustrate the real flexibility and variability of the PM role compared to other jobs out there that have more of a focused scope. Having all of this variability is helpful because I continually get additional product repetitions in as I go through the roadmap. Just like lifting weights or any other skill, the more repetitions you do, the better you become. Learning new technologies and new ways of solving tasks has a compounding effect as well. When a problem comes up, my toolkit to solve that problem is wide. After several years in product, getting lots of reps in and widening my toolkit, I'm now well trained to come up with several solutions that attack a problem in a unique way. And finally, it means that I get to always work with different stakeholders depending on the project I'm working on. In practice, a lot of the time I'll be with the same people, but here and there, new stakeholders get involved, and this helps me to work with more people from around the company, and working with more people always comes in handy in the future when you're networking for a new role. If you found this video helpful, check out the next one above. Thanks for watching.